What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Tuesday. As always, there are plenty of Manchester United news stories and information to discuss and dissect. This evening, I'm joined by Marcel Faz. Is going to be joining us at some point. He's going to be making a spectacular late entry. It's going to be
Yeah.
wait for it. It's going to be fantastic. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Super chats, as always, are open as well. So click the $sign. You can get your comment on the screen. We'll talk about it. We're going to start off talking about, you'll be able to see it in the thumbnail. You can see it below us. Steve McClaren. Yes. It's 2022, and we're talking about Steve McClaren here on United View. Why? Not just for no reason. There is a reason involved here, guys, because according to Jamie Jackson, Steve McClaren is under consideration for a return to Manchester United as Eric Ten Hag's number 2, should the Dutchman be appointed as United's next permanent manager. Now, why? We'll get into the why, but why, the rationale behind this is because as Eric Ten Hag has never worked in the Premier League, the ideal candidate to be his assistant would have experience in the competition. Now, where does this link with Eric Ten Hag and Steve McClaren come from? Well, Eric Ten Hag was actually Steve McClaren's assistant at FC Twente for the 2008-2009 season in the Eredivisie. So, now, just to give a bit of a background on that as well, during that season, because Steve McClaren did actually have considerable success in Holland. People kind of forget about that. During that season, they finished second. They were 11 points behind AZ Alkmaar, who ironically were coached by Louis van Gaal, former Manchester United manager. Also, shout out to Louis van Gaal, by the way. Keep fighting in your recovery from cancer, Louis. So, Marcel, let's start off with that one then. Steve McClaren possibly coming back to Manchester United as an assistant manager. Possibly, again, this is hardly confirmed or anything like that. But what are your initial reactions to that?
No, please, no. We just need to get somebody new in, or at least somebody that Ten Hag wants. Why are we not trying to make this his work coaching easier? Bring somebody in that he wants. I mean, I think McClaren was with Sir Alex at one point as well, I think.
Yeah, during the from 1999 to 2001. So during the treble season, McClaren was assistant manager at the helm. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. But yeah, what's your thoughts?
This was 4-4-2 days, but it's a long time ago, tactically and in terms of shape. Yes, Faz. So it's you know what I mean? For me, I don't know. I just think, you have to have somebody that Ten Hag wants. In terms of the notion, it's Ten Hag doesn't know about the league. Pep didn't know about the league. Klopp didn't know about the league. Tuchel didn't know about the league. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know about their number 2s, but at the end of the day, bring somebody in that they want, their people. So then at least they can, feel comfortable and start the process of implementing their style of football with a number 2 that understands their football intimately. So, yeah.
Red Baron with a super chat says, I'm a super chat. And you can also be a super chat if you click the $sign as well. Get your super chats
in. Yes, Red Baron.
Faz just joining us. Faz. Steve McClaren possibly as the assistant manager for Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United. What's your initial reaction to that one?
Do you think Ten Hag really wants him? Let's be real.
I'll flip it back to you. What do you think?
I don't think so. Why are we going back old school? Why? Time to move forward, guys. Fresh new ideas, fresh new people, right? Move forward with the football. McClaren, legend, helped us massively. Sir Alex's right-hand man. Thank you very much. Time to move forward now. If we go in that route anyways, if we go in the Ten Hag route, a fresh new approach, a build, please, respectfully, leave all that stuff behind. Let's look at new approach. And also, this I will refer back to when I said when Ten Hag went to an interview in Tottenham and they asked him, who would he like to bring as coaching staff with him? And he said, well, I'm a lone soldier. This is written in articles. This is what he said. And Tottenham said, whoa, like, we've never heard this from a manager before. It's like, no, me, I come alone. I'm not bringing any of my coaching staff with me. So McClaren's connection to him, very weird, very suspicious. PTSD coming in again.
Well, Marcel, why can't it be as simple as him bringing in his assistant from Ajax? Where do you think that stems from? Is it a case of this whole, and this is the thing we hear a lot about Eric Ten Hag when it comes to people saying maybe why he shouldn't get the job, right? Is that Premier League experience. We hit that over and over again, that Premier League experience. is there really anything in that, or is this just nonsense? I mean, you spoke about it before. Like, you look at coaches like that have won the Premier League in the past: Pep Guardiola, Antonio Conte, Arsene
Mancini.
Wenger, Mancini, Pellegrini, Klopp, Ancelotti, Jose. Now, granted, some of them had success in other countries prior to coming to the Premier League, which Ten Hag has had in Holland, but none of them had Premier League experience, and they still won the title anyway. So, what is this thing when it comes to Premier League experience? Where do you think that comes from?
Confidence in, being previous experience within the league. The league's quite dynamic, a lot of physical, strong players. The styles of football in other leagues we seem to feel are inferior to ours, and not superior. So then, it's just, I don't know, but I'm not in that school. At the end of the day, it's a thing where a world-class manager ticks many boxes. They tick many boxes, and they're able to adapt their style and implement their style into any league. So for me, I think Ten Hag is going to prove himself to be in that category, and he should be able to be fine. He'll be more than competent in this league. So I don't know where that comes from, and it's something that will soon be banished, because Klopp has proven it to this day, and Pep has been proving it to this day, and even Tuchel comes in and has been proving it. So, and Conte.
Star-Lord says, Pat McAfee, MVP WrestleMania, Michael Cole. He was unbelievable. So a WrestleMania reference, by the way. He was superb. Faz, well, what do you think when it comes to Premier League experience? Because, again, we hear that all the time, especially with Ten Hag. Where do you think that's come from? Do you think it, like Marcel was saying, it's just a case of, we just assume our league's right, it's the best league in the world, so people would have, how are they going to adapt to it if they've never been in it before? But the evidence is there, is it not?
Yeah, but the Premier League is a new beast. It's not the old type of Premier League that we know. The way teams are evolving. Looking at yesterday, what Vieira's doing with Crystal Palace. I mean, look at that, right? Everything, football is changing in the Premier League constantly, and what I would say is we need to be looking at our peers like Liverpool, City, even Arsenal, even Tottenham, even Chelsea, what they're doing with their structure of football. And we need to really consider before we bring in any names to assistant position. Seems like the main man's position has already been taken by Ten Hag in a situation where they're talking about assistant managers. It's like they've already decided. It's like that's how it seems. It's just not been announced. So we just need to be careful who we hire in any position right now. Premier League is a dangerous league. It's the hardest league in the world. It's constantly, demanding. There's a lot of jam-packed games when you're in the Premier League, especially if you're in the top 4, top 6. So yeah, we've got to be careful.
DJ's in the chat. Big up DJ. He has a couple of opinions on this one. It says Ten Hag's assistant at Ajax might have other aspirations. Ten Hag has been under McClaren, and McClaren was always a great number 2. I don't mind it. I think we get carried away with brand new names. He continues, McClaren has accomplished more than Ten Hag's number 2. I don't see an issue with it. So DJ posting the other side of things there. Now, another report from Andy Mitten, Marcel, said that Steve McClaren had given Manchester United a glowing assessment of Erik Ten Hag and said he did have the attributes to succeed, provided he gets the right support network around him. So whilst obviously I think Steve McClaren, he's a loaded name as well, isn't it? Just because of, the England stuff and, the Wally with the brolly, all that kind of stuff. He's a loaded name. When you say it, everyone goes, and people talk about like the Dutch interview, but he did it with a Dutch accent, all that kind of stuff. Is it a good thing that you could have someone to come in to potentially protect someone like Erik Ten Hag or guide him in the best way possible? Are we looking at it from just a purely negative point of view, or could it be a good thing if McClaren came in?
It could be. Like you said, he's worked with him before. So, it's always good to have somebody that has worked with you before. You know how things work. But I do understand the point in terms of every manager kind of needs a structure around them to be successful, and a structure that is in unison with their type of tactics and how they implement them. So it's a bit here and there with that. Like Ten Hag's going to need support from the board, full stop, and from people within that chain of command. So I don't know. If it is, like I said, it's all about what Ten Hag wants. If that's what if he wants McClaren to work alongside him, then it should be him. If he doesn't, then it shouldn't be him.
They worked together for one season, no?
Yes.
And based on that,
2008, 2009, yeah.
2008, 2009, you worked with him for one season. and now you want to bring him in. I don't even think it's Ten Hag. Respectfully, I don't even think it's Ten Hag who's making these like claims that he wants such a person. I don't trust anyone at this point.
I mean, do we even believe it's true, Faz? Do we even believe it's true? We said this the other week, didn't we?
Exactly.
When it came to the initial Ten Hag reports, that we said there's a bit of a leap going on in the sense of he's Dutch. How many Dutch players have played for United in the past? Robin van Persie, he can be his assistant manager. It's like that. It's that leap, isn't it? Who's to say this couldn't be the same thing with that as well, Faz? Where it's like, who used to be assistant manager at Manchester United? Steve McClaren. Oh, he was assistant manager of Ten Hag at FC20. Yeah, maybe he'll be the assistant manager. You know what I mean? We could be looking at nothing here, could we not?
Doesn't Ten Hag have a vision? If he wants to come to Manchester United, the biggest job he'll ever get offered for one of the biggest clubs that used to be, would you not have a vision? Who exactly you want as your right-hand man, as your left-hand man, as your set-piece coach, who you want for your strength and conditioning, the players you want, who's going to be your number 1, who's going to be your number 10. You'll have a clear vision already. You should be like, but it seems these rumors and everything just, in all honesty, pissing me off more. It's just these random names being thrown about. It's getting pissing me off more. There seems to be no vision in terms of where the club is actually heading, other than we just know a manager. Rest of the people will just, we'll just pick whoever, whoever seems the best fit with him, whatever, in terms of the media, will pick him. It's just pissing me off. We're not thinking in terms of a 5-year build. Why on earth are we going to go and get McClaren when they only worked together for 1 season? And this is his first time as well, Ten Hag's first time in the Premier League. So what, we would hypothetically look to bring McClaren in to protect Ten Hag? Well, if he needs protecting, he shouldn't even be in this league. It's the big boys league. If you need protecting, you shouldn't be here.
And what's interesting as well, actually, is that, so mentioned that Ten Hag was Steve McClaren's assistant for that 2008-2009 season. The following season, Steve McClaren's assistant was the person who's currently Ten Hag's assistant at Ajax as well. So if you're going to go based on that, why wouldn't you just bring the backroom staff with him? Right? I mean, isn't that the usual point of, like, obviously you're getting a head coach. When you try and recruit a head coach, you're obviously looking for the head coach, but you're also looking for his entire team. Are you not as well, Marcel? Isn't that part of the point? It's not just the compensation for the coach, it's everything that comes with it, isn't it?
That they're who implement his philosophy. They're who help implement the structure of his philosophy. And, he can't see everything. He cannot, there's intricate parts of it that he needs to help him accomplish his goal. So I 100% agree with it. But sometimes, you can't get that. I think you have to pay it. This is a business at the end of the day. So if you can't get him for whatever reason, somebody I think did mention that, the assistant might have other ambitions. They might want to take over Ajax and be the manager. So, there's things that you have to consider as well. We're not the be all and end all. So I respect that. And, but I do agree with you. And it's about, once you hire a coach, you want a lot of his people in there as well for him to implement his philosophy.
Carl Rayner says, can we all agree that progress is important? Enough DNA. Fergie wouldn't do it in today's era, no disrespect. And the former players are stuck in the old era mindset. Interesting from Carl there. Another super chat here, or continues from Carl, saying only Rene Mullerstein from Fergie era will do for me with Ten Hag. I mean, Faz, when you look at this story again, with the whole backroom staff stuff, would we not be repeating old mistakes as well, right? When Ralf Rangnick came in midway through the season, it was only Ralf Rangnick that came in. And then what did we have? Midway through the season, we had a couple, 3 or 4 weeks where he was literally building his backroom staff mid-season. Now, obviously, I know that would happen pre-season, but there is still like chaos that surrounds that. Even in pre-season, when we're talking about planning, we're talking about transfers, we're talking about people going in and out of the club. Do we need to be wasting more time on, okay, Ten Hag's in maybe, but we don't know who his assistant's going to be. We don't know who the coach is going to be because the people from Ajax didn't come with him.
Yeah, because in all honesty, I don't even think, like I'm saying, I don't even think Ten Hag knows himself who he wants to bring in, if he is coming in, if he's actually aware. This is what's like annoying me more. There needs to be, Manchester United has, the club, we've lost our identity. This is not how you go about. If you're Manchester United, this is not how you go about getting a manager. Come on, like, guys, we know this. This is not how the big dogs go about getting a manager. Faffing about, letting the media do X, Y, Z, posting it, whatever. We know even Fergie had a lot of control over the media. When he was in manager of Manchester United, he had some sort of control. Now he's not here. Fair enough. That's back then. But why aren't the directors doing something about this to settle the ship a bit? Why not? Why is there rumors flying about RVP coming in and McClaren coming in? Like, there should be clear vision. This is who we want. This is who we're gonna go for. These are the people that this manager wants. We are going. We like his ethos. We like his style of play. We like his character. We think he's the right man. The fans, majority of them think he's the right man. Let's go with what he wants. Right, Mr. Ten Hag, what do you need from us? Yeah, we'll announce you in a few weeks or whatever time, out of respect for Ajax. What would you like? Okay, you don't know who you want to bring in. Cool, communicate with us. What's the vision that you see for Manchester United? Let's draft up some options and let's get you the people that you need. That's how you would go about. Okay, Mr. Ten Hag, which players would you like? Which players would you not like? Okay, let's see if we can get rid of some of the players that you don't see fit in your squad. Let's see how much money we can, collect back, and let's try and get you the players that you want. That's how you build a squad. I'm not even employed in football, and this makes more sense to me. Tell me I'm talking nonsense.
Do you think it's a bit of white noise though? Like, in terms of, like, it's not maybe coming from Man United, it's just media. We're the biggest club in the world.
That's my problem. If it is white noise, that's my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Why are Manchester United taking this and going, whoa, we don't like this type of news around our club. Let's settle one thing straight. This is who we want. This is who we're going to get. This is the direction we're going. Like, it's the not knowing that pisses me off. Facts. How long has it been? International break been and gone. And apparently Mr. Fletcher has been, and the other guy,
John Murta.
John has been sat up there looking at all the list, doing all these interviews, and apparently meeting all these people, all the time. Come on now, come on. If you don't want to announce, we understand. We get you. But it's Manchester United. Like, we're going to know at some point anyways. But get some structure over the media. Your club, everybody's making a fool of your club, guys. People are making a fool of the club. What's going on? Look at the way Tottenham went and got Conte, and they had an issue of how many people he was bringing in. That's the issue they were facing. Is Conte, you got too many people. So what's different with us?
K-Flow says, it's because club do not want to pay compensation. There are coaches here from the LVG era. Why is Fletcher on the training ground? Well, this was going to be my follow-up point. I appreciate the contribution, Kay. My follow-up point to you, Faz, is that you've said several times here on the channel, going, get rid of this coaching staff, all of them, get rid of them all. If we just bring in Ten Hag, are we then left with a possibility of there could be some coaches that remain because, we can't get in the coaches that Ten Hag wants, so we can't bring his entire backroom staff with him? And then do we just add to the problem that we've got, where we've got coaches from 3 or 4 different managerial eras at Manchester United?
That's correct. It's a problem. It's a big problem. It's a big, big problem. The captain of the ship needs his or her staff members to steer the ship in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's gonna have to come in and he's gonna have to speak to this set piece guy. Right. What's been the issue? Why haven't we scored in this many games? What's the issue? And apparently, and this guy doesn't even.
Marcel was going to turn to Faz as well during that.
This guy, this our set piece coach isn't even that experienced. He's so young, and he actually hasn't even got much set piece experience. He doesn't. We need to be one of the things in Premier League football. We need to be extremely effective when it comes to defending and attacking in set pieces. Harry Maguire, this is one of your main jobs, other than defending, which you also don't do well. Let's not get into that. But set pieces, you need to be utilizing your height, your strength in the other half's box. We're not being able to do that. We've got probably the best footballer who could header the ball. We're not utilizing. We're not. So Ten Hag has to come and work with these fools in the backroom staff. Mickey, he's on the wall scrolling. He doesn't, what is he doing? Darren Fletcher's putting out cones. There's no structure. Get rid of this.
What is it concerned with Darren Fletcher? That you said he's putting out cones, but he's also interviewing the next manager. Is that
it don't make sense? Rangnick himself said Like, listen, Ragnick himself said, I don't know what this man was doing. And I actually felt disrespected. If I was Darren Fletcher, I'd feel disrespected. But if another substitute teacher is coming in and saying this person who's been in the club for donkey years, he doesn't know what he's doing, does that not ring bells? Is that not red flag that there's something going on?
Why don't the club want to pay compensation though? Back to K Flow's point, like I don't. Like we need a new structure. It's gonna cost. So as well as paying on the pitch, you have to pay in the backroom staff. You have to pay new directors. You have to pay everything. It's gonna. It has to. You have to pay. It's just how it is. So I think they need to really look at that and consider making sure that they get the right people in, even if it costs.
Well, when it comes to the managerial search, a bit more news from Andy Mitten says that Richard Arnold, of course, the new chief executive, will primarily be guided by John Murtough and Darren Fletcher from a football perspective, and has now become involved in discussions and meetings around Eric Ten Hag and Mauricio Pochettino. Both would like to manage Manchester United. Continues. Murtough and Fletcher have had several rounds of meetings with regards to Manchester United's next manager, beginning 6 weeks ago, following a period of detailed research and consultation, which included views of several former United players. Now, the reason that last bit is very crucial, though, where it says several former United players, is, of course, Wayne Rooney was on the Monday Night Football last night, and he said that he would prefer Pochettino as the next manager. Now, he got a lot of stick for that, Marcel, on social media. He said some other things which are pretty wild, saying he would build the club around Jesse Lingard, which is wow. But nevertheless, when he said the Pochettino stuff, he got a lot of stick for that. And again, it brings up this discussion of, Pochettino shouldn't be the United manager, never won anything, he's a bottler, blah, blah, blah. That negative reaction Poch gets, where does that come from, do you think? Do you think that's fair? And where do you think that's come from?
So I'm very biased because I don't want him in at all, and I don't like him as a manager. And I think it comes from the not being able to. You had all the money in the world at PSG and all the talent in the world, and you haven't been able to achieve what one would think you'd be able to achieve. And at the end of the day,
is that a fair metric though? That's the key point with that, is it?
I understand that, but that's what he was complaining about for his transfer window after transfer window at Spurs, and then now you have it and you can't seem to produce to the requirements. Again, at Spurs, failures, hadn't achieved anything. Yes, developed players, but everyone should be able to develop players as a manager at a top level. So for me, he's just not the right fit. He's more of a yes man than Ten Hag, simply because his style is more of a hybrid style. We have the pressing manager right now in Ralf. Poch is a pressing manager. Why not evolutionize the club, reinvent the club, and get the possession style manager? We've never had that before at Man United. We've never had an obsessive possession-based manager. The evolution of football for the last maybe 10 years or so from Spain and Barcelona, and it's possession football. Now Man City is dominating the ball. So why not try that? Under Sir Alex, it was wing play, heavy wing play. Now, for me, Poch is more of the same in a way. He's been the yes man. He's been the failure, but that's more of that ilk right now. Bringing him in.
What do you think makes him a yes man, though? Because I'm fascinated by that point that we see on social media, because we've seen those people say that as well. Poch is a yes man. Where is the evidence of that? Where is the evidence that he is a yes man?
So he's not Conte, and I guess he's not a yes man. Then more professional. He's too professional. He's not. He wants something, and he's just accepting the fact that he doesn't get it. And he has to struggle and complain every 2 minutes in the media. And I'm talking about the Spurs era then. And again with the PSG thing, he couldn't balance the egos. And I would rather take the risk on Ten Hag that we don't know can balance the egos than a man that clearly can't balance the egos.
Because for me, when I see the Poch stuff, and again, it's not me leaning more pro Poch or pro Ten Hag. I've said before that I really don't mind either or, and that's I'm sitting on the fence, Owen. But it's really true. It's like I really don't mind that much. Honestly, I think that the issues facing any manager in Manchester United are far bigger. When you talk about possession style or pressing style, Ralf tried pressing style at United. The players just literally they did the Faz waving the finger. They just went, no, we're not doing that. And it could be the same when it comes to possession football as well. I just think like the criticism of Poch when it comes to he's a yes man, he's a puppet. I have yet to see that. I have yet to see he is a puppet. And people can say going to PSG makes you a puppet, and somewhat so, because you are literally told at PSG, right, these are the players. We don't care who you want to play. You're playing Messi, you're playing Neymar, you're playing Mbappe, you're playing Donnarumma, you're playing whoever. But I just feel like that whole puppet narrative is slightly unfair. I mean, what do you think about it, Faz, when it comes to the Pochettino sort of negative reaction on social media?
I mean, Flex gave me a very in-depth kind of side towards his perspective towards Poch, and kind of opened my mind to Poch. But I still do not think. Would I have him over Ten Hag? At this point, I would have. I'm with you. In all honesty, I'd have anyone. I think Poch would probably, obviously, bring his whole staff with him. That's kind of one of the positives I would look at. Maybe,
Yeah.
Poch has the pedigree of dealing with big names, superstars. Poch has the pedigree of being in this league. Poch knows about the teams in this league. He also has prior experience of developing a team and taking them to the Champions League. Bottling, yes, but he has that side to him, and he might come to prove a point. He might come to Premier League and find redemption and try and prove a point. There's all that aspect. But if we're really going to be going on a long-term build phase, then in that case, then Ten Hag's the person. Because if we bring in Poch, me personally, I know myself, and I can only speak for myself. Like, I'm going to be expecting some sort of domestic cup or something, because this man's already been in the league. He knows the players. He's played against his teams, played against them. He's been in Europe. He's managed big names. I would expect him to know exactly how to deal with a team like Manchester United and deliver something at least. But if I'm going on a build phase where I'm going to look at rinsing players, getting new players in, changing the style of football, finding a new identity, and steadying the ship, then it has to be Ten Hag. And also the fact that Ralf speaks highly of Ten Hag, which is a bit suspicious to me at times, but Ralf does speak his mind. He is honest in the press conferences. So I'm expecting that from Ten Hag as well. These coaches and stuff that come from Europe, they're a bit different. Look at Klopp. They're a bit different. They speak their mind. They don't hold back. They'll say what they're feeling. So that's that. Ralf coming in and doing that was refreshing. So I'd expect that from Ten Hag. Is Poch just a puppet and do whatever he's told? I don't know. I can't really say, to be honest.
K Flow says, my reason for no Poch: abysmal record versus the top six, which is fair. His record, even in France, is terrible. History will be kind on Ollie on this. Also, he said trophies are for egos, defeatist mentality. I mean, obviously, he didn't win the league last season, which is fair. He's going to win the league this season. That's what I do just find like the goalposts are sort of shifted, and appreciate the contribution, Kay. That's why I think the goalposts kind of shifted when it comes to Poch, because when people go, what's he won? And it is a really fair argument, right? When there was a 2-horse race in the Premier League, he came third. That's a really fair criticism against him. He got to a Champions League final that, frankly, wasn't the favourite to win, I think is probably fair to say. Did he make a bad decision with starting Harry Kane? Yes. He got that one absolutely wrong. Yeah, absolutely. On the way there, though, he beats a Man City side over 2 legs that won the league by 100 points that season. Again, it's not bad, right? And you go, okay, he's going to win the league in France this season. People go, well, he should win the league in France. And then you go, when it comes to Ten Hag, you go, okay, what's he ever won? And they'll go, well, he's won Eredivisie in Holland. We go, but he's the Ajax manager. Should he not be winning the Eredivisie in Holland? That's my point. I think sometimes the criticism when it comes to Pochettino is somewhat harsh, and I think a really good point when it comes to Ten Hag. And again, I'd be very happy if Ten Hag came in. But if you ask these people that really want Ten Hag, if you realistically ask them how many Ten Hag games have you watched, it's probably under 10. And they're probably all Champions League games, right? I think the best thing you can do to get a really good in-depth sort of thought process on Ten Hag is watch like Flex's talk with Ajax, because that is someone that's watching him every single week and says he's a great coach, got great style. One of the criticism might be is that in games of sort of tweaking his tactics doesn't really do that. And that's kind of a problem for him. And we've heard that before at Manchester United as well. There's pros and cons of every coach, let's be honest here. And kind of what you were saying earlier, Faz, is that this just feels very drawn out, doesn't it? And it's almost at the point now where we're going to have to wait way more weeks. Let's be honest. We're going to have to wait way more weeks to the end of the season to hear anything about it. And it's just tiring. It's just frustrating. Red Baron says, isn't Poch sloppy seconds again? Like what we got with Jose. Why envy with Man City and Liverpool is that they have a clear vision, unlike Man United. Well, certainly can't say that Man United don't have a vision, because they do not have a vision. Let's talk about Paul Pogba, though. I do want to switch gears slightly, because I do want to talk about Paul Pogba.
I just want to ask something quickly and put it out there, see what you guys think. Darren Fletcher is in our technical director position. How much do we actually trust him to be in that position? And wouldn't it be, I mean, it's never going to happen, but wouldn't it have been a better option to maybe put Ralf in that position and put Ten Hag in the manager? Then they could work even closely, and they would, they would have the same ethos. They'll be able to build a squad as they both want, because Ralph's position as a consultant, I mean, how much do they have to listen to him, right? And do you guys actually trust or have faith in Darren Fletcher doing the position that he is?
Marcel. Go on, Owen. No, go on, Owen, please.
No, I agree with you. I think the part of the optimism of bringing Ralf in as the interim manager wasn't necessarily him as an interim manager. It's what he was going to be doing in the future. He's a sporting director. Out of the last 10 years, I think 8 of them he spent as a sporting director. He's got a really good track record as a sporting director for his work at Leipzig. And I think that was the hope, is that, he's just going to get us to the end of the season. But where he's most effective, where his real quality is when he's involved in the football decisions at the club, right? A football guy making football decisions. That's what we heard so many times. And the real disappointing thing for myself personally is when that report came out a couple of weeks ago saying that actually when he becomes a consultant, he's going to be pretty hands-off. He's just going to be a case of, like I said before, let's get Ralph's opinion on this. Give him a phone call. Ralf, what do you reckon about this? Oh, I would do this. Cheers. Boom. That for me is a worry, because we talk about best in class, right? Manchester United, best in class, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. And don't get me wrong, I like Darren Fletcher. Obviously, he knows the club well, but a technical director of Manchester United should be someone that knows exactly what they're doing. They should have experience in that role, and they shouldn't be learning on the job in a really senior position like that. I mean, he can sit in interviews and ask questions to prospective candidates because he knows the club well. But I also want someone like Ralf Rangnick in those interviews, because he's been there and he's interviewed top managers and he's been at clubs and understands a growth and understands a vision. So that does concern me. But Ralf Rangnick, that's where I laugh now. When I see these reports going, Ralf Rangnick's a big fan of so-and-so. Ralf Rangnick's recommended this player. Ralf Rangnick's done this. I don't buy it, because we've heard that that's not his role at this point. At the moment, he's a coach. At the end of the season, they'll figure out what that consultancy role is, because they don't know at the moment either. They still don't know. They'll figure it out, and he's not involved. He's just not involved. Marcel, what do you think? I'll throw it back to you.
I feel like we have to wait and see what happens. I'm not gonna judge anything right now. They're trying to put in place a structure for the club. It's clearly we haven't had one. It used to be Ed Woodward FC. So right now we're trying to put in place a structure for the club. I think Ralf Woods is the better choice out of the two. If you're looking at Fletcher and Ralf, he is the better choice out of the two. But it's Fletcher. Let's see what the work that he does. That comes in years, and in the next 2, 3, and 4 years. Because that's how long it's mostly going to be until we get the Premier League title, never 3 years from now, 4 years from now. But let's just see what Fletcher does. He's new to the job, and let's see what he can do. I think Ralf would have been the better choice, but as a consultant, he will hopefully be involved in those kind of processes and have an opinion on it. Whether it's listened to is another thing, but he will definitely.
But he's not involved, though, is he? That's the problem. We would hope he would be, but he's not. But he's not going to be involved.
Ralf is going to get a lot of stick next season. I'll tell you now. You guys might not believe it, but Ralf is going to get a lot of stick, because that's how they brought him in. They brought him in to consult, and then when shit hits the fan and the players aren't coming in, or we're not getting the type of CDMs we want or whatever, and signings go wrong, somehow you'll see in the media, because it's Manchester United, Ralf Rangnick had recommended But Darren Fletcher won't get the stick. Darren Fletcher will never get the stick. This is my issue, and this is what I was going to lead on to. This is exactly what is wrong with the structure of our football club. We have a person in the technical director position who's never been in that position, who's never had that sort of pressure. He's a club legend. He's played the highest level of football for many, many years. He's had loads of caps, fantastic, whatever. But Rangnick would be much more suited, considering we bring Ten Hag in, because they have a very good relationship. And it makes more sense. I would love to see Rangnick in the dugout and then Ten Hag on the sideline. I would love to see it because they're communicating in the right, right channel, in the right way. But Darren Fletcher and Ten Hag, and then Rangnick being, on the phone or via Teams, via Skype, saying, "Hey, what about this player?" Nope, Marquez red. That's how it's going to be.
JK says, you guys listen to the Man United podcast. Fletcher wants the Man United job, but what's his CV? And if that happens, more jobs for the boys. Well, I don't think Fletcher's going to get the United job anytime soon, certainly. But this kind of comes into contracts and all that kind of stuff. So Paul Pogba, more news about Paul Pogba and his impending exit from Manchester United. Samuel Luckhurst from Manchester Evening News reported today that dressing room sources at Manchester United say that Paul Pogba is effectively gone, and United have been planning for his expected departure for most of the season. United intend to sign at least one midfielder in the summer. PSG have made an offer to Paul Pogba. The terms are understood to be lower than the final package that Manchester United have offered. Pogba is open to joining PSG, but is understood to prefer a return to Juventus. Marcel, do you think that we can finally say that Pogba's gone at this point?
If he doesn't want to play for the club, let him go. No one's bigger than the club. We've got young players. I'm pretty sure there's a young number 6 coming up, or a number 8 that's coming up that would want to play for the club. I don't know why we're bothering to play him then if he doesn't want to sign. The other terms that, like you just said, have been better than what any of the competition offering. So, and he hasn't produced for us for how many seasons? So if he doesn't want to play for the club and he doesn't want to sign, he's been digging his heels for, I don't know, a better contract or a better situation at the club. He didn't play well last game. It's not like he's playing for the club. Let him go. So it's not an issue. There will be thousands or more Paul Pogbas to play for Manchester United. So it's not an issue at all. He needs to go then. Play one of the youngsters in the 6 or the 8 for the rest of the season. Simple.
Do you think he's gone, Faz?
Yeah. He's 29 years old?
Yeah.
29, 30, 29 years old. His career in Manchester United has been really, 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 poor, and he's not done much as to the caliber that he can achieve. It's sad, and we need to move on as a club. It's not worked, and we can't keep on trying. Individually, he has some great attributes, some great skills. I personally love him, but it's the consistency that kills me, because he's not been consistent. And like Marcel's saying, at this point he's gonna start looking at the paycheck, and he's gonna play for the paycheck. So if PSG are calling, especially, he's definitely gonna be moving towards that. And we know Pogba's character already, how he is. He's flamboyant. He loves the lifestyle. He's that type of player, No disrespect to his accolades, what he's done for his country and whatever, but as Manchester United Football Club, we need to move on. We've given him plenty of time. It's not worked out. Yeah, move on.
But this is Ed Woodward's fault, by the way, Owen. Just quickly on this. Why is this gotten to this stage? With so many football club players at the club, why has it gotten to this stage? It doesn't make any sense to me that he is a world-class player. I'll be honest. Do you know what I mean? Why have we let that drag out so long? And it's happened with multiple players.
Do you think it was a case of United thinking that eventually he'll come around and he'll sign a new deal? Because the new deal's been on the table since last summer, hasn't it? 400k a week. It's just waiting for Pogba's signature, and Pogba's just said no, or I'm going to wait till the end of the season. Yeah, 400k a week since last summer, and he's not signed it. Do you think then, Faz, do you think it was a case of United trying to sort of almost call his bluff and going, we could probably sell him, but actually, you know what? He'll stick around. We'll qualify for Champions League, or we'll do something. He'll stick around. Do you reckon he's just called United's bluff?
Yeah. Why on earth are we even offering that? Why are we offering 400? It's ludicrous. Salah is crying for what, 250, isn't he?
350, 250. Whatever. Less than that.
Let's even say 300.
Yeah.
Salah is crying. And Salah has outperformed every single player in our squad.
Yeah.
And Liverpool are saying, hell no, we do not budge from our wage structure. We have a structure in place. You want to play? You're still making extortionate amounts of money. And if you want to leave, well, that's also an option for you. And why can't we be like that? Why on earth are we putting the number 4 at the start? This is baffling, especially when we ain't winning nothing.
Nothing.
We are nothing to show for. Nothing at all to show for. Not even one domestic cup. Not even top 4. Nothing to show for. And we put in 4. And yeah, it's been, United have been having this conversation with him for a while. This is another problem. Why? When the season's already, going whatever, why are you doing this? This is the Ed Woodward virus that's left in the club. This is the after effects of Mr. Woodward that's been left in the club. We need to stop this. Fully stop this. I'd much rather, like Marcel said, and I've said it before, get younger players in who want to play for the shirt and develop a squad like that. That's what exactly one of the first things I'd expect from a new manager is sort these type of issues out. With the directors, with the heads of the football club, sort these issues out. Get a wage structure. Stop bringing in players for the wages. It's ridiculous. It's killing our club.
I mean, Marcel, would you say that Manchester United are better off or worse without Paul Pogba at the club?
That's a good question, Owen. I think, considering his style of play, a lot of the fans don't really like his style of the play. But if you're asking me personally, I think most probably better off without him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't really want to play for the club. If we're looking at the player doesn't want to play for the club. His style of football in the pressing style, a bit heavier on his heels, dwells on the ball a lot, but maybe in a possession style it would help a lot more. But we need younger, hungry players right now, and we've got players, and with Ten Hag coming in, he's gonna need young, hungry players. I don't think Pogba will fit into that mold. And then if you just look at his seasons for us, when has he had a very good, consistent 2 seasons? He's been out injured for a lot of the time, and then he comes out towards the end of a season. I think it's last season that happened and now this season. So just in terms of what he offers us when he plays for the club, it's not been brilliant. But again, I'm a fan of his, but, we're most probably better off without him.
Faz, what do you think? Do you think we're better off without Pogba, or do you think we're worse off without him?
Yeah, I think look, I'm slowly leaning towards not slowly, but I'm gone already in terms of I want to build. I've got no expectations from the club, no expectations from any players. I just want to take it slow, have a building few years, and yeah, he needs to go. And speaking of, does he or does he not play for Manchester United? I don't know if he's going to play for any club. Is he going to play for any club when the money's calling and that's his main reason for leaving, running down his contract and not committing and going back and forth regarding the wages? That alone tells you, what type of player he is. He'll only go to PSG for the money. Players go to PSG not to win Champions League. Players don't go to PSG to win French league. They go to PSG because they want to make the money. That's all it comes down to.
That's the interesting thing, isn't it, Faz? Is that reportedly the reason he wants to leave, he said in the media during the international break, is because the last 5 years United, he's not happy because we've barely won anything. And that was going to be one of my questions. Is that so? We're talking about an offer from PSG on the table. He wants to move to Juventus, but realistically, at either club, I mean, how many trophies does he win at either of those clubs?
He might win the league if he goes to Juventus, or he might win the league if he goes to PSG.
Juventus are 4th this season. They're miles off.
Yeah, right. Even they're going through a rut. But if he goes to PSG, he might be guaranteed Champions League, and he might be somewhat guaranteed. No disrespect to French league, but somewhat guaranteed. French league title. That's it. Other than that, what else can he win with what? And those leagues aren't even, again respectfully, aren't even as challenging and competing as Premier League is. But his time is long finished, and he knows this. So he's going to turn it around and say, I've not won anything. But you haven't. Your performance itself speaks for itself, on the ground. We've seen what you can do before. We've seen what you can do in the World Cup, but you failed to do it in Manchester United. Simple as. I love him. And, I have a feeling, in all honesty, I feel like a lot of these players are going to stay. Something deep down inside me thinks that Manchester United are going to do what they normally do, is somehow keep these players, because they don't want to let these players go, because when you let these players go, especially on free, you've got to pay big bucks to get new players in. And we're already, we've got players on loan that we're going to call back, and God knows what we're going to do about them. We need forwards, because forwards are going to go, Mata, Lingard. We need players. And with more players leaving, I don't know what Manchester United is going to do in terms of signing players. So they might just try and say, you know what, for another season or two, let's keep a bunch of these players and see what this Ten Hag guy does with these players. That might be the case. And that seems more realistic to me that that's going to happen.
K-Flow says, Faz, newsflash, United players make up the best paid players in the league. Brandon Williams is reportedly on 60k a week, and we wonder why they can't be bothered. Care to respond to that, Faz?
It's shambolic. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And excuse my French, but it's a bunch of bollocks. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. How on earth we've let this happen, I have no idea. How on earth have agents come in and just been able to negotiate these sort of contracts and they've just signed? I have no idea. I actually don't know how.
Ed Woodward,
why they would do
football
that.
people. Ed Woodward and no football people. I've said it a long time ago. High wages, low trophies. I've been saying it for a long time.
At all. And now to go back, now to go back, say, hold up, we're not offering those type of wages. It's gonna be extremely hard. We started this probably from Sanchez at time. It's gonna be extremely hard to go back now. Extremely. Except for Ronaldo and a couple of the other senior players. Rest of them, they don't even deserve 100. They don't even deserve 100 grand a week.
David G says, we're worse without Pogba if we don't replace him with a technical player. Without Pogba, Fred and McTominay can't dictate from deep and sideways pass a lot. That was going to be my next question, Marcel, is obviously it says in that report there that United are looking to bring in at least one midfielder in the summer. I mean, they say at least one, but realistically, how many midfielders do we need to bring in?
Well, we need a DM out and out, and then we need another creative player because we're losing Pogba. And then you might need one for cover as well in case of an injury. That's maybe free. But then you've got James. Midfielders. Yeah, that's just midfielders. Yep. But you've got James Garner there who, you can come in. I think Babaku Kamara has been one that's saying, is touted to be a player that wants to be a part of the project. So, and you've still got Hannibal who can play in the 8. And so he's a 10, for me anyway, but he can play in the 8. So, and Van de Beek, who under Ten Hag, is a very good player and understands that system. So, there's still positive things to look at in terms of no Pogba. He's not the end all and be all. Yes, you're going to be worse off without him. He's a quality player. But like we said, nobody's bigger than this club, especially not Paul Pogba. And there'll be plenty more players of excellent quality, like Donny.
Faz, how many midfielders do you think we need in the summer?
If Fred continues to somehow, find some consistency, then, that's cool. That's one less. McTominay and Pogba, Pogba leaving, we'll obviously need to replace. That's one. McTominay, Pogba leaves, that's one. Covering injury, that's one. So I'd say three. Three makes, but it's not going to happen, guys. This is me making a Christmas wish list. It's not going to happen. Yeah. I'm living in La La Land because no way that's going to happen.
We were talking before we started, Marcel. Marcel was giving me a lot of positivity, Faz, and I was doing my best. I was doing my best to keep up with it. I was struggling to keep up with it. So after Arsenal's defeat last night, Marcel was feeling very, I wouldn't say very optimistic, but he's given me the speech of it's still possible when it comes to qualifying for top 4. Marcel, share your, like we're in an exam, show your workings. Okay, share your thoughts.
So I'm not saying we're going to get there, Faz. All right. I'm not saying we're going to get there. All right, guys. I'm not saying we're going to get there. I'm just looking at the facts. And it's still mathematically possible. And right now we've got Everton to play. Yeah. And then we've got Norwich. And Arsenal's fixtures, if I have a look at them, Arsenal have got Brighton and they've just had an 18-day break. They've drew to Norwich in a game that they had to win. This is going to be the freshest and we've seen what Potter done at Old Trafford. So we know that he can set up teams well. He has a good tactical nous. He can set up teams. So we don't know. They could drop points. Other teams are going to drop points, guys. There's a fact. That's a fact. And we've got so many 6-pointers. Arsenal have got us, Chelsea, and West Ham. They're going to drop points. Chelsea have got... who have Chelsea got? Chelsea have got us, Arsenal, and West Ham. They're going to drop points. There's difficult games all around. So if we just do our job, all I'm saying is do our job in the next 2 games and then have a look at it. I strongly believe that at one point there'll be Arsenal on 57 points, Man United on 57 points, and Chelsea on 62. That's all I'm going to say. And from there, there's still something to look at from there. From that point and that point only, there's a possibility that we can achieve something. I'm not saying it's odds on, and it's not in our hands. We've been saying this for a long time. Guys, we've been saying this for a long time. It's not in our hands, but I would like for us to go into the stadium believing that if we pick up points, we're still in the conversation. That's what I have to say.
Faz, do you care to respond to that?
I agree with him. I believe in what he says, but I'm not gonna buy into it. I bought into it before, and I got burnt. I got PTSD, and I'm not doing it. I'm not, because when it does come, and we fumble in Everton, and we fumble with Norwich, and Arsenal defeat us, Chelsea defeat, because at this rate it might even go down to the last 2-3 games of the season. At this rate it could be that it comes down to United versus Arsenal and United versus Chelsea that decide this. I'm definitely not expecting it at all, especially at this rate. If we had won against Leicester and then Arsenal lost, okay, then you got my attention now. But no way. We just drew against Leicester and Arsenal got defeated. But that 1 point might as well be zero. Might as well be zero. So I said it a long time ago, and I'm not changing my mind at all. I've let go of this season. I've let go of top 4. Conference it is.
I mean, that was kind of my point to Marcel before we started, wasn't it? Is that, and I'm with you. Like, you see the result last night, and there's part of your brain that goes, well, maybe, but you say we've just got to do our job, but we can't.
Yeah, no,
we can't do our job. Like, we didn't do our job at the weekend, and that was the first thing I said, wasn't it? When you went, "Oh, it was great last night," I went, "But imagine we'd won. Like, if we'd have won, then you'd have been like, right, okay, like something could happen because we've still got to play Arsenal and they've still got to play Tottenham and all that kind of stuff." But it's still like I said it before, like Arsenal can slip up, but I still don't trust. I don't trust United to be able to. Because when have we capitalized on anything all season? That's the issue, isn't it?
Well,
who are Arsenal playing next? Sorry, who are Arsenal playing next?
Brighton.
And they've got
Brighton in horrible form, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they have Tottenham to play.
Yeah, they will play Tottenham.
They have Tottenham, they have Chelsea, and they have West Ham, I think.
So what's it? It's Brighton, then
and
Brighton.
Us. No, I don't
Brighton,
know the order of it. I don't know. Let me.
Because I'm just saying it because the order of it plays a big part.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So they have Chelsea on the 20th, then on the 23rd us, and then West Ham on the 1st. That's madness. That's 3 6-pointers. I'm telling you guys, that's 3 6-pointers that they have to play. And then they've got Leeds, who are never high dynamic team that are going to make them work after they've just played 3 mad games, 6-pointers. If there's any team that has it easy,
Faz is being persuaded. Look at his face.
If there's any team that has it easy, guys, it's Tottenham. Tottenham have a nice, easy, but they're Spurs. They're not going to do it. So they
just beat Newcastle 5-1.
They're not going to do it, Faz. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be Spurs in that 4th place.
Conte's there with the hairdryer effect on the players.
I hear you, and I would have wanted Conte when we had the option, but we don't. We have Ralf right now. And he's finding it difficult to balance these players and make these players work for us. And I agree. But there's nothing. Owen, I 100% agree with you. There's nothing from us that shows, okay, we deserve to even beat Everton next week in a few days. I'm going to go and watch them play.
I think more than mathematically being able, I think the players aren't able because they're beat down. They're knackered. They're drained. They're depressed. They're upset. Marcus Rashford walked away, let the ball go in front of him against Leicester. This is supposed to be one of the best strikers, apparently so in England, up and coming. The youngest best striker in England. He let the ball go past him. Maybe the ball was too wet. Maybe the pitch was too wet.
I'm not out here giving them excuses. I'm just saying.
Some players like the pitch wet. Some players like the pitch dry.
Tight enough. He likes to get these to go that it's raining or anything like that. Can you imagine?
I think the players are not capable, more than mathematically capable. Yeah, if you run a simulation and you put all our players in, 9 out of 10 times we'll be okay. But in this current climate, our players are not able. Simple as.
Nah, I hear you.
David G says, opinions on Hannibal, Iqbal, Ahmad, Shorteri, Ghana. Will they get a chance, as in reality, we as fans don't have patience and want to win now, or they end up like Angel Gomez? What are your thoughts, Faz, on all of those players? You've gone to see quite a few of the under-23 games recently. What are your thoughts?
Really good. Really, really good. Some of them, honestly, they play like they could, if I call them next week, they'll be able to get into the first team. Fernandez, the left back for under-23s, what a player. So calm, so composed, doesn't panic, relaxes on the ball, looks around, he's got a good pass on him. Hannibal, we know obviously he's a great talent, but again, PTSD, I've learned from the past, I'm not gonna gas it up too much. I'm not gonna say, yes, these are the players going forward. Oh my god, these are star players. No, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna say is great players. We've got great talent in there, and I'd like to see them now get some experience. Especially now with the season, nothing to lose. Let them have some experience. Hannibal, Fernandez, even Melo. Melo wants to leave United and go somewhere in Europe, which is why we're letting that happen. He's a great forward for under-23s. Shoratire as well. Get some of these players in. Ahmad, let them have the experience. And next season as well, I would like some of these players to actually be in the first team in terms of, getting some minutes in second half. Being that player, if someone's injured, then that player can come in, rescue us. Just like Marcus Rashford did when Martial was injured. That's how his career really originally started, right? So I would like some of these players to be involved in the next few seasons, yeah.
To wrap things up then, Marcel, when it comes to top four, we don't really do predictions here, but if I had to say to you, are we going to get top four? What would your answer be?
I'm gonna say no, because it's not in our hands. if every other team wins their necessary games, or at least enough of them, then it's not in our hands. And at one point it was in our hands, and that was under Ralph's control. But I will say no, but it's still mathematically possible. And there is a format in terms of the way the fixtures are laid out that we could still be in with a shot. So I would still want to believe that, we can still get as high as place possible in the league. Just in terms of the young players, though, I think Hannibal needs to come in and get involved. I think Ahmad needs to fill out a bit more. Shortai needs to fill out a little bit more as well. And Iqbal's very good. And Fernandez, very good as well, the left back.
Or do you think we could see a situation then, Faz, like you mentioned in the summer, if we were meant to have this big sort of mass exodus in the summer and players meant to come in, could we realistically see a situation where all of these players leave, and because we know what Man United are like when it comes to transfers, we don't get that many players in, and some of those players, they have to play next season because we just haven't replaced the players that have left?
Yeah, or else how are we going to make up the squad? We might end up loaning in players. How mad is that? Let that sink in. We might end up needing players on loan. That's how bad it might get at this rate. If we don't start really making some moves in the transfer market, we never do anyways. We never do. We're just horrible when it comes to transfer market for the past good few years. So I'm expecting the same, to be honest. And at this rate, the young players will come in. I just want to say as well, plenty of people watching. Make sure you hit that like button. There's plenty of people watching. A lot of you have YouTube accounts as well, so don't try it. Don't. A lot of you have YouTube accounts and you ain't subscribing. So hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Come on.
Yeah, it's like Austin Baker says. Look, how is there 550 people here, 540 people here, and not 200 plus likes, guys? Yes, smash a like on the like button. Josh will be shouting at us all. And Mike Phelan, they're different people. Mike Phelan himself and Josh, they're different people. I know they said they're the same person. They're not. They're different people. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner as well. We're getting closer and closer and closer to that magic 100K mark. Ever so close. Once we get to 99.
Is it true that Partey, Tierney, and Xhaka and Tomiyasu injured?
They picked up injuries from that last game.
I know Tierney's out for the rest of the season.
Marcel, you know what that means? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
The glasses off. Faz took the glasses off. You knew it was serious.
I'm joking.
Man, let's just be optimistic a little bit. I'm just saying, let's see what happens. Especially the next two games. I'm not saying we're going to get it. Let's just see what happens at Everton, and then let's see what happens at Norwich, and then we look at the picture, game by game.
Game by game, Faz. Right? That's the motto, isn't it?
No, not this season. Next season.
Next season as well. Next season as well. But
Next
this
season,
season
yeah,
as well.
but not this season.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap it up there. We're out of here, guys. Peace, and we'll see you again very soon.